Yeah, we see the problem here, fellas. The dog ran head first into the screen door, and now it's a doggy door. So let's go ahead and get this fixed.
Yeah, first thing you're going to want to do is take a Phillips screwdriver and clockwise turn these little tiny screws that will move the wheels up and down on your screen door. Those will position the wheels a little bit higher so that you can get at them with a small bladed screwdriver or a putty knife or something like that. And you'll just see me pry up the door. Pretty simple. You can see the wheel right there. I'm prying it up. Door comes out pretty easily. You're going to have to remove the old screen door, and there's most screen doors have this little felt, sometimes rubber gasket piece, and don't be shocked if it comes off in your hands a few times and it breaks because it's old and brittle, so don't be shocked if that happens, just like it did here. So you're going to have to get used to digging around in there and get a pick or something to pry it up, but you can usually take it in big chunks like this. It comes out pretty easily. Now that you got the old one out and all the edging out of it, just go ahead and lay your mesh over it. Make sure it's nice and straight. Nothing like getting it out of all cattywampus if it's when you get towards the end, you got to redo the whole project. So careful with this stuff because it does rip fairly easily, and it is not it's not robust. You can rip it with your hands or even the small tool that comes with it. This little guy here to push the little gasket piece in the center section there. You'll see what I mean. But you can rip it fairly easily, even with that tool. And the rope comes in it. In the bouldering or rock climbing community, we call it flaking, which means you take the rope and you make sure there's no knots or anything all the way through. Just you flake the ropes. There's nothing worse than getting halfway through something and then realizing there's a knot halfway through, especially if you're climbing. That's a big, big danger. So really just put it in the channel and shove it down pretty hard. I like to start in the corner because that's not a part you're going to see and not a huge structural component of it. Most of it's the sides anyway. So just getting a good start is kind of the issue, and making sure you're keeping the mesh part centered in the door. Can't do it one-handed, but I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing. It doesn't take a lot of pressure, but it's a good firm hand to get it in there and work your way all around. The first one, you can go around the corner if you want. A couple places, I cut them off at the corner. Either way is totally fine. Again, this is not structural, and it's not supposed to be watertight, so, who cares? Yeah, just work your way around, and this is where you're going to, once you got one side done, the opposing side you're going to want to pull a little bit tight so that you will get a nice stretch over it. Otherwise it's going to be buckled and look silly and that sort of thing. And there's going to be some creases in it, as you can see when I'm done. There's still one of these creases from being inside the box for a while, but that will relax over time, so I wouldn't worry about it. When it comes to the corners, I actually cut a little L section out of there just because it was easier to work with when going around the corner because you don't jam a bunch of material in there. Makes it a little bit easier, but just making sure you're keeping it taut as you go. And as you push the little rubber gasket into the channel, it will slightly pull itself, so it will tighten up a little bit more, but you can already see how much tighter it's getting just by doing a little bit of tugging. Again, not too hard, otherwise you will rip it. And then when you're all done, just make sure you cut her off at the end. And last step is going to be taking a razor and cutting the inside. It cuts very easily, so you don't have to put a lot of pressure. It comes off very quickly with a razor blade. Just make the razor blade. Make sure it's sharp. Believe it or not, you can hurt yourself more with a dull blade than you can a sharp one, so always keep a sharp blade on hand. So again, I'm not too worried about these creases. They will come out with over time, so I'm not really super worried about it. To put the handle back on, really 3 screws, 30 seconds. There you have it. Our door is done. Reverse procedure. Put it back in. It's a little warm today, as you can tell. I got my towel. Just like Hitchhiker's Guide says, always remember to bring your towel.
And no more doggy door. Awesome. Thanks for watching. See ya.